What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy CJ, the Gym Slasher, back at it again, man. Appreciate you guys. Show the love, hit the like, hit the subscribe, man. But with all that being said, let's get right into it. So my gym peeve, yet again, is the best way I can describe this in terms of peeve is the person at the gym that do not understand rest. Period. Right. Let me explain that further. Right. When is the appropriate time to rest in terms of length of time? What has been a growing thing in terms of a peeve of mine, right? Technology has changed. As you can see, we are here, and I think some of it is a wonderful thing. I think overall it's a great thing to have and stuff. The transition going to the gym with our technology can sometimes be a detriment to all of us, myself included, right? I want to bring out content. I put out videos while I'm at the gym, while I'm out working out. Well, sometimes that may take a little time, right? So I'm not is not knocking the person that's using YouTube and doing videos and they're out working out and showing, things to get people motivated or inspired or just to show off what they can do. What I'm talking about is the person that's on their, phones and doing scrolling, or people that are not on their phones and they're just sitting there in excess of time. So what is that excess of time, right? What is that? What does that mean? What does that all entail? Well, it depends on what your workout, right? If you are a power lifter, it is appropriate to take approximately 2 to 5 minutes, right? Because you're doing a maximum energy output, and it's going to require maximum time to rest to get back and doing another maximum lift, right? That 2 to 5 minutes is for that specific workout routine. If you're like a big bodybuilder, or or you're just a big dude and you want to lift big, or it's just what it is. But that time is appropriate based off of what you're trying to do in terms of your accomplishments in lifting. If you're looking at muscle growth, that's usually between, let's say, about 60 seconds to 90 seconds. So a minute to a minute and a half, right? You want to maintain that pump. You want to burn. You want to tear those muscles apart and allow them to recruit, and then tear them apart and allow them to rebuild. And that's, I know that sounds kind of crazy, but that's what your body is doing in terms of your muscles, is ripping apart and healing themselves and ripping them apart and bringing them back. That's where the muscle growth tends to be. But in order for that to be accomplished, you got to sit in that 60. And some people can, depending on your energy, your genetics, your where you at in terms of intermediate, advanced, it can be 30 seconds to 90 seconds. It just kind of depends on that. But the safe is usually 60, a minute to a minute and a half of that, and then get right back into your workout. If you're in that endurance training, high reps, it's usually between 20 and 60 seconds. So if you actually kind of run down what I just said and you kind of start looking at it, or if you're writing this down, you're seeing that minute threshold, that minute to 2 minute threshold is where you would typically want to be at when you're working out. Those different variants that I brought up engages in different systems of your body, your energy systems. You got three of them, your aerobic, anaerobic, and your, it's called, my gosh, what is that third one? Your phagocytic. It's with a pH, something I think is phosphagen, and that's your three energy systems, right? So those dictate whatever in terms of your body, what you would like to use. Now, why am I bringing that up, and why is that important? Well, and why is it a peeve of mine? Well, if it's not done properly, you can do more harm than you can good in terms of your workout. Typically, this happens to novice workouts, people that work out that are new to working out, or just simply no one has even told them, right? If you're new to working out, it's okay to have that 60 seconds to a minute 20. So meaning 2 minutes, a minute to 2 minutes of a workout If you start finding yourself going longer than that, you basically killed your workout. Your workout is null and void. And I don't generally care what you're lifting. If you're doing something in terms of 5, 6, 8 minutes and you're not doing maximum, 2 to 3 rep style of workouts, if you're not doing that and you're doing, 3 sets of 10, 5 sets of 15, or you're doing a scale of 15, 12, 10, 8, but each one you're spending, you know, um, in excess over 3, 5, 6 minutes because you're on your phone scrolling, or you're talking to people and you're walking around, or you're just staring yourself into the mirror, or you're checking out the guy, you're checking out the girl, or whatever the case, or when you're doing that, you're bringing back your heart rate to a rest period, and it's very difficult to get it back up. It takes a lot more energy bringing it back up into that high interval training, and then each set that you're doing, by bringing your body back, it just throws your energy off. It throws off the what's necessary in terms of burning your muscles and ripping them to get them to recruit to build that strong muscles. You're throwing your body all off. It's confused. It don't know what you're trying to do, because you're just kind of meandering through your workout. Understand, when you're in a gym, it's a gym. The gym is of motion. When you're going in there, it's a motion based area. You got to be moving. You got to be doing things. Nobody said you got to lift my workout or lift that other person's workout. Nobody said you got to go 100%, 100 miles per hour. You have to have your heart rate at a constant level that's respective to your workout, so that you can gain strength, gain endurance, have a nice size, but also burning calories, and burning that energy to help you either lose weight, tone, or tone up, if that's. And I kind of cringe at using tone, but in terms of working out and slimming up, or losing weight, gaining muscle, you have to keep your heart rate at a high rate to burn that energy, that anabolic energy that's or anaerobic energy that's needed, right? That rest period, we got to move out of that, because that just throws off our whole workout. So when you're in the gym, you have to have a kind of a timer in your workout as you get between sets, to go, okay, if I'm doing 15, let's say you're doing 12, a set of 12, right? And you're doing 4 sets, and let's say you're doing 12, 10, 8, and 6, right? Each set of that kind of style should be between that 60 and 90 phase, and in very little time. Now, I understand that, like myself and like many others, you got your phone, you want to listen to your music, you want to listen to maybe a podcast or whatever while you're lifting. But if you on that and you want to find that right song, or you want to find that right, sometimes that happens, and we all been there, and those are a friend come by and wanted to stop and talk with you, and that has happened. Typically, I'm not a big fan, like I said before, in terms of my other peeve of helping somebody, spotting somebody and all that. I would do it, but I don't want to make it I don't want to make it a routine to where I'm sitting there, and I've seen, like I said, I'm sitting and observing, I'm watching, man, and I see people just either over talking or sitting there staring into the abyss, or whatever, or and you're just killing them. And I can go through different stations already, and yet you're still on one, and you ain't even, change your weight. You haven't went to the next set. You're still sitting there. And I've seen some literally get themselves out of their trance because they sat there for 3 minutes, for 5 minutes unnecessarily, because you're not doing powerlifting. You're doing regular weights. So with that being said, I didn't want to make this too long. Kind of want to keep it in a nice little time frame. But again, monitor your rest periods. Make sure you are resting reasonably and not over resting. And obviously not, you don't want to under rest, but more often than not, that that rest is important, but don't overdo it, because then you have to kind of start your body all over. So with that being said, who are you? What is your mission? I appreciate you guys. Again, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Appreciate you guys for checking me out. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.